We already know the Luka Dončić trade is one of the weirdest trades of all time, with the Dallas Mavericks trading their 25-year-old superstar, not just to the Los Angeles Lakers, who can't keep getting away with this, but the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka because he can't stay healthy, and they traded him for an Anthony Davis who is already hurt. An Anthony Davis. Oh no, the consequences of my own decision. I wish this was as weird as this trade deadline was, but looking back on it with a few days to think about it, this might be one of the weirdest trade deadlines in NBA history. There's going to be so many videos talking about the Luka Dončić trade that we're not even going to get into it. But the craziest thing wasn't even the Luka trade. It was a few days later when the Lakers are greedy and saying, you know what, we can be championship contenders this year. Why can't we be championship contenders this year? We have Luka suddenly healthy and looking thin in a Lakers jersey. We already have LeBron. We already have Austin Reeves. Let's add one or two pieces and go back to contender status. And despite having less than 48 hours to pull a rabbit out of his hat, Rob Pelinka pulls off the trade. Luka Dončić tells him, I want a big man who can catch a lob. And Rob Pelinka says, say less. Rob goes and gets Mark Williams. And was it an overpay with the Lakers giving up a first-round pick and a first-round pick swap along with their first-round pick in Dalton Knecht? You could argue that this is a 3 first-round picks for Mark Williams trade. Was it an overpay when they gave up more first-rounders than they did to get Luka? Probably. But the Lakers thought they were a big man on this roster away from being contenders now, and it was kind of the Warriors 2 timeline idea. We can be good enough now in the twilight of LeBron's years, and then Mark Williams can be good for the next 10 years along with Luka. There's only one problem though, and that's Mark Williams' physical, because when you went to give him a physical, the Lakers found out he wasn't a healthy 7-foot center. He was 2 children in a trench coat, and one of them had bad feet. So now the Lakers have rescinded it, and the Charlotte Hornets are trying to say no takesies, backsies, and now you just have Dalton Knecht sitting in the corner, crying because no one wants him.
How come you don't want me, man?
But this whole Mark Williams situation and the soap opera that is the Lakers might not even be the weirdest thing, because some of the things that were weird are the deals that didn't happen. The Portland Trailblazers and the Brooklyn Nets have supposedly been tank all year long, and yet they go out and they keep winning games. The Trailblazers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and they hold on to the vast majority of their veteran players through the trade deadline. The Nets didn't trade Cam Johnson. The Portland Trailblazers did not trade Jeremy Grant. In fact, the only move the Nets did to get worse was cut Ben Simmons, and I'm not even sure if that makes them worse. I'm sorry. Has everyone forgotten how to tank in a year that's supposed to have one of the best draft picks ever? Did the Nets completely forget the mission? And even worse than the teams that did nothing are the teams that somehow did nothing and something at the same time. No one has done more nothing and something than the Phoenix Suns in this trade deadline. The Phoenix Suns have basically turned the Charlotte Hornets into a feeder system, just trading back and forth with them. They were like, hey, can we have your backup center? Can we have your backup point guard? Can we have your backup small forward? And they've done a series of trades together. And when the musical chairs is over, the Phoenix Suns acquired Nick Richards from the Charlotte Hornets, Cody Martin, and Vasily Micic. If I mispronounced his name, get in the comments section and call me an idiot. If I did it correct, please like and subscribe. I'm trying really hard. We're a small channel. So was it bad for the Phoenix Suns to go and pick up 3 Charlotte Hornets players? No, that wasn't even the worst thing they did in this trade deadline. The worst thing the Phoenix Suns did in this craziest trade deadline of all time was they openly shopped Kevin Durant. Say what you will about the Dallas Mavericks and he who has cucked Nico Harrison, but he at least has the decency to trade his superstar in the dead of night under the cloud of secrecy. The fact that the Suns were openly shopping Kevin Durant and then didn't arrive at a trade. What do you think this is going to do? The Suns have already struggled this year. They're in 11th place at 26-26. And you're going to go get your late 30s superstar and you're going to piss him off? We know what happens when Kevin Durant doesn't like the team he's on. He leaves. He demands a trade. The Phoenix Suns had backed themselves into a corner. Their entire franchise is controlled by one man. Is it their general manager? No. Is it their owner? No. It's Bradley Beal and his no trade clause. And the Suns panicked, wanting to make a big splashy move. And since Bradley Beal said, nah, my family's comfortable, we earned this, I'm holding all the cards. The Suns said, okay, well, we're going to trade our aging superstar and begin this rebuild. There's only one problem. Kevin Durant got involved in these conversations and he didn't want to go play for the Warriors, a team that was trying to acquire him. The Rockets are over here going, we can just lowball you. And the Miami Heat didn't really have the pieces, and trading Durant for Jimmy Butler makes no sense whatsoever. So the Phoenix Suns, after all the dust settles, have acquired 3 Charlotte Hornets, like that's a good thing, and they've disgruntled their superstar. Speaking of disgruntled superstars, I'm here for this Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry team up. They look like a Batman and Superman team up. Steph is the king of the outside, and Jimmy Butler is the king of the drive, the king of the paint. These guys have unbelievable, sexy chemistry, and they've only played together for like 2 games. I think the Warriors might end up being the deadline winners here, in that all these other franchises did not pick a clear direction. And in the 11th hour, with the steel chair from the top rope, the Golden State Warriors said, we got one more in us. I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. I think this Warriors team is going to be fun and exciting and could potentially go on a run where they end up being a contender. The Warriors are only 2.5 games out of a playoff spot, avoiding the play-in altogether. And if you ask me for my money, if there's a single team I don't want to play in a do or death game, it's a team that has Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. The West got fun. But my final crazy deal is the Toronto Raptors deciding to go all in on the now. They were like, forget the future. We tried tanking for like half of a season. It got boring. Let's be good now. The Raptors acquire Brandon Ingram, a player that the Pelicans have been trying to trade for 2 years. And now the Raptors own every single 6'8" switchable perimeter player in the NBA. They've acquired all of them. I don't know what their next plan is. I don't know what the next part of this plan is, but now you have Brandon Ingram to pair with RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick. You could just try out a lineup of 6'8" wings and Isaiah Quickly and then see what happens. I have no idea what the Raptors are doing. I have no idea what direction this franchise is going, and it feels like Brandon Ingram is really redundant with an RJ Barrett and a Scotty Barnes, but you don't trade for Ingram to then trade Scotty Barnes. That makes no sense. Then trade RJ Barrett. He's finally playing well, and he's Canadian. If you're a Raptors fan, get in the comment section. Tell me how you feel about acquiring Brandon Ingram. What do you guys think? Has there been a crazier trade deadline with more stars moved and less of a clear direction? Not one that I can remember. This was fun. This was crazy. This is Trash Talk.